today we're going to work on tripod, which is actually a variation of your headstand, but with a little less support of your forearms around, you know, your hands bracing your head. Today we're going to plant the palms, as it sounds, making a little tripod. If you're just getting started with tripod and this is fairly newer to you, you want to keep a little more weight in the palms so it feels a little more like a low plank. Over time, you're going to get more comfortable and you'll find more stability to move towards, you know, balancing a little more on the top of the head. But for today, you can err on the side of keeping a little bit of your weight moving into the palms. You're going to feel your core and your strength on the back side of the body, similar to locust, activate a little as you do that. So that will often help you not just come into the pose, but stay there safely as well. So again, we are not using a wall. I am Pamela's wall for today. So you can either have a stable human working with you, or you can use the wall. Remember, you're going to set up about 3 to 6 inches away from the wall with the tops of your fingertips. So there's room to move your head and look forward, your butt to come up. And again, make sure you have a sturdy wall. Often, if you're unsure, it's the door that's going to be your best bet. And that's more easily replaced, right? So we're going to jump in. Make sure you've cleared out some space for yourself. And here we go. Starting off in your child's pose. You take your knees nice and wide. So if you've taken most of these series with us, the 20 days, chakras, etc., I have said, I'm sure more than once or twice, that kind of the trick, if you will, to getting into some of these more difficult postures is finding a little bit of ease. So you're not struggling into a pose, you're not forcing yourself into a pose, and really it's all about balance. So finding that little bit of ease here, softening your shoulders, your jaw, finding a little bit of that release. Eventually we're going to build enough integration so that we have foundation. Right? We're not looking to create stress in the body. We're not looking to hold on for dear life or to cut off any of the breath or oxygen supply. So keep a little bit of this space with you. If you get sidetracked and notice you've stopped breathing, or it feels like there's a lot of pressure in your head because you've been trying to master your tripod, you can always come back to child's pose. It's a great resting space, complement to being upside down. So if and when you're ready, here we go. You're gonna come out to your tabletop, just move your knees underneath you mindfully. You're gonna inhale to cow, maybe to cat, maybe you're just moving your hips around, stretching your neck, right? But fanning the fingers, you maybe have that sheath that wraps around your wrist. So fan fingers, press your fingers a little into the mat, just like you engage your quads. You wanna think about squeezing strength into your hands, lots of muscles. Curling your toes when you're ready. We're going to move towards high plank. So coming right into a moment of strength. Press shoulders, not just a little bit behind you, but down. Squeeze your biscuits, and again, that imaginary block between your thighs. So oftentimes we come up, we forget about the rest of our body, particularly the strength of these powerful legs and glutes of yours. So feeling them active, and take that strength with you, move your hips a little up and back, and we'll find your downward facing dog. So again, just as you did in child's pose, going to set up a little bit of ease here. And we'll take that right leg to the sky. So slightly different today because we are working a wide-legged stance out of Prasarita to get to tripod. We are opening the hip at first, but then we're extending over to the side wall. Flexing the toes and ankles, you can flutter the heel a little, lift a little so you feel active through what feels like and likely is not just glutes, medius, minimus, maximus, but IT band as well. Quads for sure, a little rinse of the knees. Come with that leg extended into your high plank. Shoulders over wrists, that right leg is still reaching. Reach that right leg way over. Oh. Yeah. Camilla's like, oh, I thought you weren't gonna see it. Yeah, right into high plank. Boom, feel the work. Right back to down dog, peel it open. Just a little taste, a dab will do you, I promise. And we're gonna take that foot back to the floor. Opposite side, peel open. Spend those first couple of breaths, you know, getting into your body. Peel it open and then reach it over. Get all the squeezes. And we'll come right into that high plank. Shoulders over wrist. Boom. Yeah, feel that little bit of crampage maybe. Peel it up and open. A little bit of relief. And we're going to take that knee towards the nose, step right through to low lunge. You're extending the leg on track, front leg on track, so more of a Parsvottanasana. You don't need to drop the back heel, but that might offer you a little bit of stretch on both hamstrings. It's not so much about finding the perfect space, it's whatever's getting you a little more stretch in the hamstring. So maybe hips are up and back and side to side. Maybe you're sinking into a lunge and re-extending back and forth a few times, right? Within everything that I'm saying as foundation for this short practice, you want to always remember to create your own. So you can add anything, delete anything. But eventually, as you bend a little into your front knee, you're going to step towards standing leg split. So this time a little bit different. You're going to walk your palms out in front of you, palms pressed down. Remember, you're active in the wrists, fan fingers, a little hops like your handstand. So again, starting to introduce a little more weight of the body into the shoulders, elbows, wrists. Just maybe 1, 2, 3 times, and then release. Other side. We'll go hippity hop, we'll go in reverse. Find that little bit of buoyancy, right? Again, familiarizing ourselves with getting the hips over the shoulders-ish, lifting, and then stepping back to the low lunge on this side, right? Extending the front leg to more of a Parsvottanasana stretch. And you can draw palms, you can find blocks. Maybe it feels better to interlace the hands, but definitely just erring on the side of the lungy stretch, if you will, for hamstrings. So feel free to tilt tailbone, to move your hips around, really whatever's working for you, which might include also bending a little into the knees. You still got to feel your way through this practice because honestly, no one's going to know how you feel but you. So as I mentioned, take what I'm saying and then apply it to your body. Mold it around you so that you're supporting yourself always. Take another breath here. And then this time we'll step right to the front of our mat. Toes touch, find the breath. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale to fold. All the way to standing. Active recovery, so hips press. It might feel good to reach a little side to side, up and over. And then release, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. And as you step back to high plank, we'll pause for a moment. And we're going to bring your knees to the mat. So you're going to set up a low plank with blocks. Now, some of you may have to rummage around your house for some kind of equivalent. You can stack up some textbooks. Depends on if you got some stools or coffee tables lying around, I don't know. Turn something on its side. Point being is you want a little support for your shoulders to press into shoulder stand. Even 2 water bottles perhaps. And fingers touch the blocks or water bottles, whatever you're using. So you're going to walk your toes back. You can come into high plank first. So as you lower, shoulders are going to press onto your version of blocks. You're still pressing away, but now you have a little bit of support because in theory in tripod your head is down, so it's not all of the weight of your body. But again, introducing this low plank press, the foundation we're going to want in your tripod. So 3. Not forgetting about those strong legs or the biscuits, they get a squeeze. We're going to press right into high and then lower your knees. So press high plank, boom, lower your knees, and we'll get rid of these blocks. Like, I don't know if this is good or bad or better or worse. We're going to find those socks again. Remember, if you're breaking out a pair of socks, Wonder Woman socks or what have you, use this as a little active recovery. Maybe you had to wander off to the bedroom and come back. No worries. So we've been doing variations of those pikes the last couple of days. We're going to do the same, but this time you're going to start in a lazy upward facing dog. Legs shoot behind you. You can work from the tops of toes or curl your toes, whatever works better. So the first time is just that familiar pike. As you draw your heart forward and lift the butt, draw those toes up as close as they go, and then scoot back a little. Lazy upward facing. This time, as you lift, feet are coming wide. You're like, go, go, gadget, legs. High plank. Now lift so come into a high plank. Now scooch the feet out wide and up, yeah. And now wide and back. Now you can keep your plank and just go wide and go back. And one more pike. Up. Yeah. And scoot back. Exactly. And then release your knees. So you could do that on and on and on if you're building strength. Right, we are going to save some energy today, so just plant that in your mind for later. Tuck it into your pocket. You can kick off the socks. Right, you can do that for a few minutes after the fact, but we're going to save a little bit. This is great. For me anyways, I'm having a blast. You? Yes. All right, so here we go. That is basically all of the things. So we're going to put them in a nice little ball, and we're going to attack your tripod. So the first thing you're going to do is set up Prasrita. So Pamela's going to stay this way on our mat so you get the side view. And exactly. So feet are going to work wide, and we are bending the knees a little. You're going to take time to fold first. We want to find a little bit of gravity here assisting us. So mostly just dropping your head. First thing you want to notice is where can you comfortably get your feet out nice and wide, familiarize your inner groin, your hamstrings with the stretch. You might decide to rock a little weight into the balls of your feet, a little into the heels, get familiar with this rocking and transition of the weight. And then over time, a very short period of time, or maybe the next few days, we're going to work on moving your forehead, just like you did in those somersaults yesterday, towards your mat. Now it's going to come out a little farther in front of you. And once you have it down, you can stay. But we do want to adjust the palms. Are going to work a little farther away from your head so that it actually makes the tripod, right? Like a triangle. So that you have room enough to press off the balls of your feet. And move those hips. Exactly. So your feet are going to stay as wide as they can, and we're going to keep them wide as you start to lift up, right? We just did the little pike with the socks. Exactly. Now keep going, squeeze the feet together. And as you start to do that same pike, legs wide, find that Prasrita straddle. From the hips, you're hinging, getting the feet as low as you can, and coming back, bring your knees down. You can take child's pose, or you can just hang out for a moment, because we're going to do that one more time, but instead of legs nice and wide, you may have noticed it's a tremendous amount of work, and maybe you stopped breathing again. It's very human of you. But over time, that gets a little easier. So the first thing you want to notice is, how did it feel on your head? Okay, we're going for the crown of our head. If anything, we're erring on the side of slightly moving forward an inch or so towards your hairline, your forehead, so that the weight of your body is staying in the palms as you get started if you're not too familiar with tripod. Okay, that's your safety net, because if you fall, you're always going to fall forward and your toes are going to come down, just like that cartwheel, right? So round two, we're going to set up Prasrita again. So come up into that wide-legged forward fold. Find gravity first, find the palms. Remember, you're going to rock a little forward, just like that scary moment in somersault, to get your head down first. Crown of your head, if anything, you're erring on slightly forward towards the forehead. Palms move, so they're making that triangular shape. Fingers aren't in line with your head. And now as you start to pike your bum, you're going to work your feet maybe closer together. They might even touch. And we work the pike of the sits bones. So like your dolphin, coming up from strength, legs reach, squeeze into those strong legs, pressing from the balls of your feet, right toes flex down, and we're going to come down slowly. So the real work, if you're newer, is coming in and out slow as you can, and coming down rabbit or child's pose. Nice job. Awesome. Recovery first. Like, please say there's no more. Yeah, there's no more unless you are feeling really strong and energetic and you have lots of time. But for now, you're going to cross your legs, right through table. Cross legs, come onto your bum. We'll start again in child's pose. I keep saying child's. Happy baby. Very similar, very different. Happy child. Viparita Karani or your happy baby. Bandwidth in the brain is, I guess, limited today, but something that gets your feet up and feels a little more like recovery, because that's important too. As I said yesterday, we were really good at doing the work. Oftentimes, it's harder to take the rest. But bringing in that little bit of balance here. Just 5 or 6 breaths. No more ujjayi. Just kind of feeling the support from the floor. And as you linger here, just kind of, you might still feel where you were planted on the top of your head. It's usually a good indication. At this point in my practice, I prefer to use the hardwood floor, because if you're out of balance, if you're off somewhere, you'll know because it hurts the top of your head. Now, you know, maybe the first couple times you take it, it's new sensation. And yeah, you're a little off balance, right? You're trying to work into it. So that's fairly normal. Uncomfortable is fine. Pain is never good. So, you know, maybe padding up or rolling up your mat a couple of times using a padded blanket or something is beneficial. You always want to notice how that feels. Make sure it's relatively comfortable. You can err on comfortably uncomfortable like most of our yoga poses eventually, but just want to make sure you're not feeling any pain. So as you let your legs extend down the mat, I'm just going to take those couple of breaths in Shavasana to lay all the way down, to let go of any holding, maybe a little horse breath. If your whole body could be a horse breath, kind of simulating that release. Just 5. If you were unable to get up, that is perfectly fine. Give yourself the time to work from strength. No kicking. Promise me, right? I'm not there to give you any kind of assists. Even if you're at the wall, you really want to work from strength. If anything, there's maybe a press off the balls of your feet, your toes, so that you get the hip hinge. But as you lift the legs, you always want that to be from strength. So give yourself the time to work that strength first. And then you can always come back to the videos whenever you want. But for now, you're going to come back maybe to tuck knees or to curl up on one side of your body. Unless you're hanging out and you have time to linger, by all means, go for it. Otherwise, I'm going to invite you back to a comfortable seated position. You just notice your energy, right? It really doesn't take much time anyways. Right, fair bit of effort on this one, a little, 15, 20 minutes, boom, hopefully had something a little bit energetic going on, but certainly I know you weren't thinking about doing the dishes or whatever you're off to work-wise. Homeschooling, oof, I feel you. But when you're trying to get your feet above your head and still breathe and so on and so forth, I know you're in the moment, so maybe let that be the best part of today's practice. So palms to heart center, with gratitude always for these bodies. And coming back to intuition, thumb knuckles land at forehead center. For ourselves, those around us, this practice, we bow and we say, Namaste. And we will see you tomorrow. So, as always, thank you. Thank Camilla. And doodles.